Greetings, Green Warrior, and welcome back, Rick.
Hi, guys.
Well, I'm glad that you are all joining us today. This is something that we've been talking about for a while. We really like the gadgets that we've accumulated over the years, and some of them are just game changers. Some of them we would never want to do without, and all of them we want to share with you.
Well, not all of them. What I've selected are the things that I use on a daily basis or a weekly basis. I still have other things that I use periodically, but these are the ones that I use all the time. Kind of like, stainless steel bowls,
Yeah.
little food processors, Ninjas, of course, your Vitamix, a whole bunch of other things. Breville,
Yeah,
ice cream maker,
storage solutions.
right? Storage
Yeah.
solutions.
And you don't need to get all these gadgets, but
They make your life easier.
they make your life easier. And if you're like me, I'm always on the lookout for something to make my life easier and make Rick's life easier. And so over the years, like I said, we've accumulated these things. And maybe you're looking to get something for a friend or relative, or maybe treat yourself to something, or maybe you'll have an aha moment and say, "Wow, I was doing it that way, and I could have just had something simple like that, and it would have made it so much easier."
It's kind of like the mushrooms. I take little baby bellas and I cut them up into, before I saute them, and we've come across this slicer that just slices them up. You just put it in, and it slices it into quarter inch pieces, and you just go pop 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 pop. It's a game changer. I mean, I used to just cut it with my knife all the time, slice, 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 but saves me about 10 minutes. I do 3 pounds of mushrooms at a time, and
Yeah, and you actually you've already have them sliced, but that's what they would look like after you take a whole
right after you take a
mushroom
whole one,
and it goes right into that
regrettably,
slicer. So that's a really
they're all cut up.
they're all cut up
It's
in
like
the
you're doing a
interest of
gadget show. Why'd you cut them all up? You're in the mode, you just go.
Yeah, when you're in the mode, you just go. But they just go so quickly. So sometimes you can find them already pre-sliced, but not often. And sometimes they're more expensive if they're pre-sliced, and they go bad sooner if they're pre-sliced. So it's nice when you get them whole and you can just go pop, pop, pop. And, unless you're like a chef that's been in the business for decades, I don't know if you can cut them any faster
Well,
with a knife.
most chefs have sous chefs.
Yes.
And they cut the mushrooms for them. They clean them and cut them for them.
Yeah.
They just cook with them.
I'm the sous chef.
Yeah. Well, kind of. I cut the mushrooms. Anyway, where do you want to start, Amy? First she said you're doing a gadget thing. Then she says you're doing a cooking show. And I'm like, okay, what am I making? But I need to make oatmeal cookies because we ran out of oatmeal cookies. I mean, we just had a nice dinner the other day, and I made a bunch of stuff. I made an aloo gobi. I made stuffed mushrooms. I made stuffed butternuts. No, I didn't make the butternut squash. That was the day before. But we could do a stuffed butternut squash. We could do a stuffed mushroom. I just found some really, really great asparagus. So we could do the asparagus thing. I mean, can't do them all. Probably could do them all, but I don't know if we have enough time. Totally up to you guys what we want to do. But this was the first thing I figured I'd show you was the mushrooms. And I need to cook some mushrooms anyway. So the other thing that I use almost daily is it's a 5-quart stainless steel. They call them chicken fryers, but it's an 18-inch stainless steel. It says chicken fryer. This one's a Wolfgang Puck one. Got it on sale. Fabulous. I burnt it like, I don't know, 20 times where I forgot that it was on the stove. And it's still nice, it's fresh, it's unbelievable. Anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start that.
And I want to let everybody know that I have an Amazon store. I don't know if you Green Warriors were aware of that. And there's a link to my Amazon store, and there's also going to be a link that we curated just for these particular items that you may be seeing. And if you can't find them, just give me a comment, and I will tell you. I'll give you the. It just makes it easier to find them, and you'll just see a lot of the different things we enjoy using this based lifestyle.
Okay, so we're going to start off with that. First thing everybody needs is a nice pair of scissors, because I use scissors. You know, I mean, I have several of them all over the place. Got them in this drawer, got them in that drawer, got them over there. You know, but it's the one go-to drawer that's right underneath my stove top. Anyway, I buy peppers and onions that are frozen. Makes it easier. I dump it into my fryer. Okay, and I toast that on the stove, and I put it on high. You show the frying pan. There you go. So I guess you saw all that, the pepper, onions, and the fryer. So I toast them in the fryer, put them on the stove, and put it on high. Should I take this and bring it over there, Amy?
That'd be a good
Amy?
idea. We'll
Yes.
do that. So
Okay. So blur out the one that's showing the board at this point. So I'll move it.
okay. Yeah, so Rick is going to go ahead and move the camera, and I removed it so that you guys don't get seasick while he's moving the camera over there. So we will see how if he's set up and ready. Oh, there you go. We see it
Okay.
now.
Okay. So that's what I do. So I set it up, put it on high, and then I toss in a couple of different spices. I put in some table tasty. So I keep table tasty inside of this jar. I really don't measure much. So I put in table tasty as a go-to all the time. I use Chili 9000. That's from Penzies. That's a go-to all the time. So that gives it a little spice. Um, I use a little bit of sumac, which gives it a salty, lemony flavor. Peppery as well. Sprinkle some of that in. I buy basil by the pound, you know, big bags. So this is a dried sweet basil. I like the sweet basil. And I buy garlic powder by the 5 pound bag, because I use a lot of garlic. Garlic's supposed to be really good for you. And then even though there's onions in there, I buy garlic powder by the 2 or 3 pound bag as well. And I sprinkle a little of that in there. And that's a start. So I let that simmer and saute for a little while. I made a really good mushroom mix, which is this is our salad dressing. I tossed that in as well. And then I just throw all the mushrooms in. So this is 3 pounds of mushrooms cut up. Oh, and they're overflowing. But you know something? They won't be overflowing. They will cook down real quick and easy. This is another thing I use all the time, is a colander. I have several colanders. This is my favorite because it sits between my sink and props up nice and easy.
And you
And I
might
put
think
the
that's a lot of mushrooms, but Rick is showing you how he batch cooks. So obviously, we're not going to eat all of these all at once, and he's going to show you what he does to freeze them in a little bit too, right, Rick?
Sure. That's one of our gadgets. Then I set this on 6 minutes. Once I hear it sizzling, I put it on 6 minutes. Okay, you go to the other camera, Amy. Okay, then I take this and I just put it between my 2 sinks. You can't see it at this point, but that's okay. Anyway, now you need a cutting board. Everybody needs a cutting board. I'm going to take that camera that has the other one, and I'm going to bring it back because you don't need
Okay.
to see it sitting there sautéing. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Getting good at this, Rick.
Yeah, I'm trying. Takes a little bit. Okay. So then you get your stainless steel bowl. We're going to make oatmeal. Put that off to the side. The other thing you really need is a good knife. And with a good knife, you need a sharpener. I have purchased this little puppy. Okay, you plug it in. I'll plug it in. And then it's got some spinning wheels. Hear that? You don't hear it because it's so quiet. Okay? And you just rough cut. You run your knife through it. Then you put it on the fine. I just sharpened it. My knife is really sharp. It was a little dull just a little while ago. But everybody needs a knife sharpener. So if you don't want one of these, get yourself one of these, which is what I started with. And then you can just run it through. But a sharp knife is important inside of a kitchen. And I have several knives. I won't show them all to you because that's the one that I use all the time. This one and this one. This is a serrated knife. If you can see that. It's got the serrated blades. I use this to cut up. It's a bread knife for the most part. But I use that to cut watermelons and pineapples because the skin on both of them is kind of tough and it seems to dull my knife. And this was this is an old one. This was those miracle blades that you used to see on TV at 3 o'clock in the morning. That was sharp and cut everything. It does. And it holds its blade. I don't think I've ever sharpened this because it's serrated. It probably should be sharpened. It's a little dull, but it still works. Okay. And then you see my apple slicer? Amy got me this one. This one, instead of giving you 8 slices, it gives you 16 slices, which is really cool. Apple slicer. Another cool gadget. Lemon squeezer. All right? If you don't have a lemon squeezer, you should have a lemon squeezer. This one here, it's got a compartment that catches your seeds and then a compartment that just catches the liquid. So when you squeeze the lemon, the seeds and stuff and gets caught inside of here, and then you just pour it out, which is really neat. You know? When I saw that, I was like, okay, I'll get that. It's KitchenAid. Okay? Let's start off. The other thing that I use all the time is this little puppy right here. This is one of those little ninja food processors. Okay? And what it does is it chops nuts, it chops oats, it chops everything. I use it for just about everything. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to make the oatmeal cookies. So I'm going to take some oats, which I buy by the 50-pound bag. Okay, it's organic. So I pour oats in there, and then I pulverize this stuff into a flour. So I have oat and oat flour. Okay. Look how quickly it does this. That turns it into a nice fine powder. 20 bucks. Yeah, I mean, you can get them for more, but it's like $20. Then I use an almond flour because I don't know. I found that it works really nice. This is about empty, so I'll just use it all. Okay? And then I buy raisins. Could you give me both cameras, Amy? The one that you see my face and you see, yeah, there you go. So we go through raisins. I go through a bunch of raisins. I use raisins in my oatmeal. I use raisins in my cookies. I use raisins to sweeten. I use raisins inside of my salad dressings, which I think I've showed you guys how to make them in the past. Okay, so I buy these in this is 2 pounds. So it comes in a box 4 pounds in a box, and it's organic. I have it on auto ship. Anyway, then walnuts. I buy walnuts in like the 3-pound bag. This one I got, I think it was wasn't this a Walmart one, Amy? 3 pounds.
That one happened to be on sale on Walmart. So if you
Yeah.
guys belong to Walmart, you can go online and
But it's a
get these
Kirkland
stuff
brand.
too.
So I
Yeah,
think that's
I
also a Costco.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that all happens.
Then I put some walnuts in here. See, these are the full-size walnuts. I don't know if you can see that.
Let's
Those are
see.
the full-size walnuts. And you don't want a big walnut. I used to put them inside of a plastic bag and beat it. But see, that's 7 minutes now on the and it makes it into a fine crumble. See, let me stir the pot. I'm gonna bring you back.
Okay. I love the stainless steel bowl. When we first began, we were using like Tupperware bowls and plastic bowls, and I'm really trying to move away from using plastic. So when I saw these stainless steel bowls, and they nest very nicely and they clean up so nicely, and then if you're doing things that are rough chopping or cutting or whatever, then you don't have to worry about cutting up
Put it on the other camera.
plastic.
Are you on the other camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do both. You can put your face there as well. Anyway, never lay a hot pot straight on top of your glass, because it can create a suction, and that suction from the heat will pop your glass and crack it. I have a friend that they just bought one of these stovetops, these glass stovetops. Put it in. She put the pot lid down. And the next thing you know, it cracked it.
Yeah. So yours is not all the way on the stove. It's part of it is on the counter.
Correct.
So it's not.
It's overhanging.
From here, it kind of looks like it's all the way on the stove, but it's not.
Normally, I put it on my cutting board, which sits over there. Anyway, so this is it. So these things are ready. So I shut it off, and normally I just take it off the heat and put it off to the side. And that's what I'm going to do now. And I'm going to lock this thing out so it doesn't turn on again. All right. And that's it.
That looks so good. And yeah.
Now I'll take these and I'll make the sauce into a soup. I will make the rest of it. You can take me off. I'll make the rest of it into whatever.
Yeah, that's what. So Rick doesn't. Anytime there's liquid left over from cooking, he thinks, "What can I do with this liquid instead of just dumping it down the drain?" Right. So that's a really cool hack that he's sharing with you today. And
I'll show you. Okay. So another thing I wanted to show you is we take cinnamon, because I'm going to put cinnamon inside of here. You see, it makes a cinnamon powder. Here's the cinnamon powder. But what this was before, where are you?
Yeah, I think over by the stove on the left of the stove.
Yeah. Where the cinnamon sticks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I actually wrote a blog about this because a lot of the spices that are out there are suspect, and they have found in some spices that they have things in them like lead and other things that they add in, and that really worried me. So I thought, well, could we make our own cinnamon powder? And probably it would be less expensive and also fresher because you're grinding it, right?
Yes. And then I use cardamom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
cardamom is my secret ingredient. And I buy them now in the 2-pound bag, because this little sucker is $6-7 in the store, where I buy a 2-pound bag, organic as well. And I don't know. Yeah. I think it was like $35, which is expensive, but I use so much of it, and I keep it in the freezer so it's fresh.
Right. That's what a
And
lot of the things we have, we keep in the freezer so that this way they keep fresher.
this is a Vitamix dry container. Okay, you will blend these sticks and make it into this powder. And I can show you how to do that later if you want and if we have time. Or you can use the Ninja,
The
okay?
NutriBullet.
And if you get the attachment, they have a blade which is a pulverizer for powder. So it takes those sticks or flaxseed, chia seed, and makes it into a fine powder, which I'm going to do for you right now because I have
Yeah.
to put
So
some
that
flax
one,
inside
then
here.
this is a NutriBullet, and it has different that's a milling wheel that it comes with. And then it comes with another part that's just a regular lid that if you wanted to like blend a smoothie,
Blend,
right?
make hummus.
Make
I use
hummus.
this. I use this to make my hummus.
Hmm.
I'll take a cup of black beans, cup of chickpeas, table tasty lemon, garlic, and some of that salad dressing stuff. Put a little bit of water in there. Hemp seed. They call for sesame seed. I always have hemp seed on hand, so I throw hemp seed in there, and then I blend it up, and it makes a hummus, which is
Yeah.
take.
And what you like about it, Rick, is that when you make something like hummus, that it's easier to scrape it out because you don't have to worry about getting around the blades like when you do with the
Oh
vitamin.
yeah, that's another one of the things I wanted to show you. Okay, I bought this spatula inside the dollar shop, and let me show you something. On these cups, they have little ridges. Anybody who has them, they have. You see this ridge? Is a ridge inside of here. This spatula fits right in that ridge perfectly. Look. You can see the two ridges. So you just scrape it down, scrape it down, and slide it all out. You know, it's like it was made for this. It was. And then if anybody can find me one of these, okay, it's very flexible all the way at the top. It's about, I'm gonna say 3.5 inches long, but it's really flexible. This is the best spatula that I found for the Vitamix. It gets under the blades, you know, and it scrapes the sides really, really well. But mine's starting to get beat up. This is the second one. I had two of them. I really want one. I think I'm going to manufacture them if I don't find it.
Yeah, we've been on the hunt for it, and we don't even remember where we first got it. I don't remember. Oh,
It's
and Rick
been
is
it's
getting
been a while.
it's been a while, but here he is. He's putting on his Superman outfit for his
Well,
apron.
I
Yeah,
just
so if
bought the shirt
anybody has
yesterday.
seen a
Don't want to get
spatula
dirty.
like that, let us know, and
Yes.
we'd love to find it because we've purchased a few and they're okay. And I know some of you may say, "Well, what about the Vitamix spatula?"
No.
It's good, but
Nope.
not. It just doesn't work as good as that one.
I have
So
it. I don't like it. But that's just me. Everybody's different. Okay, so see, here's the cutting blade for, and then I buy organic flaxseed. So we'll get that started. Flax will be what I use inside the oatmeal, but I also use chia seed. Where are you, chia seed? Here you go. So I'll take a little flax and a little chia. This is more than we need for this particular dish, but it just shows you what's going on. I'll slide this off to the side, put this over here. Okay. Another thing that you should have is hearing protection. I always use the hearing protection because
yeah, so I'm going to mute that while Rick is. So I'll save your ears as well. If you have a question for Rick, please type it in the comments in the chat. And even if you're on Instagram, hello, everybody that's watching on Instagram. I'm checking the chat in there too. So if you have a question, I can put that up for Rick as well from Instagram because we're simulcasting from Instagram and as well as Facebook and YouTube. Wow.
so flaxseed. Did you see what it turns into? It turns into a nice fine powder. Look at that. Fine powder. Anyway. Okay, so that's pretty much. So I put the cinnamon, I put the cardamom, I put the raisins, I put the oats, and I put the almond flour, and then I mix it all together. All right. Now I'll put a little baking soda in there and a little baking powder, and that'll be my dry ingredients for the most part. Get the aluminum-free baking soda and aluminum-free baking powder. Sometimes they're hard to find, but you can. This is a Bob's Red Mill double acting, no aluminum added. Says it right in the very front of it. No aluminum. See that? No aluminum. Okay, baking powder, soda. Okay. Again, I'm not a measurer, so I would say it's about a tablespoon of baking powder and a tablespoon of baking soda. That's my guesstimate. And this is probably about, I don't know, a pound of oats. Okay, so that's the dry. Now, I wanted to show you something really cool. You can make dried mangoes. You know, if you have a mango tree or something like that, you can dry your mangoes in one of my, which we have, I make dog food in it. So these are dried mangoes. And what I do with the mango, I bought these at nuts.com. They were on sale, dried mangoes. I love mangoes. But, you know, you can't get fresh all the time. It's hard to find fresh. So I take these, I put them in a cup of water, all right, inside like a salsa jar, and they reconstitute into mango. I mean, look at that. You just put it in the water, and within an hour, you got mango. And it turns into a mango juice. They're delicious. It's like it was just fresh. It's like, it's amazing. Who would think? I didn't. Wonderful. Dried mango, put it in water, reconstitute it into a fresh mango.
Yeah, and you can just
put it in your smoothie. You can put it inside of cakes. You can put it in this oatmeal stuff.
Right, you could just put it in a cup. You don't have to put a whole jar of it. So if you plan on making a recipe, then you could just put that when you're gathering your ingredients, put that a couple of pieces in a cup of water, and then gather your ingredients, get everything ready, and it will be reconstituting at the same time. And because things like mangoes, they just don't last that long. Plus, some people just don't want to bother having to cut them and peel them or whatever.
Right.
And thanks said clever.
Another thing that you want to get is this thing. My sister sent this to us. I was like, what the hell is that? You know, it came wrapped up like this. I was like, what is that? What is that? You know, it goes on top of your sink. Here, let me show you. Take that off real quick, Aim. Okay, here. You see this? It goes on top of your sink, and you can use it, you know, to put stuff on. So now you have extra space. It's unbelievable. Once you get it, you're like, how did I live without it? Gives you extra space. Anyway.
Yeah, but it doesn't only just give you extra space. It's also wonderful when you're cleaning vegetables and fruit and then they're all wet. You want them to dry, or you want to dry some pots or dishes and things. You just lay that out, and then it's not taking up real estate on your kitchen counter. You can also use it and then roll it up, put it under the sink when you're done.
I have 3 of these bowls and one giant one that Amy got me accidentally for a holiday. It's like this big. I mean, it's something that you use commercially.
You know how you order things online?
I was like, I just laughed my butt off, man.
You order things online, and usually you get them and you say, "Wow, that's not as big as I thought it was." Well, in this case, it was bigger than I thought it was. But
It was much bigger.
but he said, "Don't return it," because he said,
I
"I'll use
use
it,"
it.
and he
Okay,
likes
I'm going to
using
show
it.
you something. This is the mushrooms. I'm getting the liquid out. I let them sit long enough. So I'm going to get the liquid out of there. You see that? What I do is I squeeze it out a little bit.
Hey, Rick, thanks said, "Great tips."
Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you tips, hacks, and a little bit of cooking demonstration and some entertainment. I hope you're being entertained.
Entertainment.
I
That's
can make
right.
balloon animals for you if you want. In my past life, we were a family of clowns. I don't think you guys know that.
Yeah, that's
Am I giving too much information
two
here?
truth. No, they have a game, two truths
Yeah, okay,
and a
that's true.
lie,
Are we
and
lying or is it true?
yeah. But I like that tip because after you make the mushrooms, I love how you just take that colander and then
Yeah.
you just drain them in there, and then look at that is so full of flavor.
And
That
I put it back inside my frying pan so it drains back into it.
Yeah, and there'll be some more liquid left
And,
over
and
after
this
in the
this I
frying
will make
pan.
into a soup or I can use it to saute with. I used to just make. After I did this, I took farro and I cooked farro in it, and it had so much flavor. But I found out that the wheat affects my joints in my hands. It gives me little bubbles, and I get like arthritis. I thought I had rheumatoid arthritis, and it was all because of wheat. Whenever I eat wheat for any length of time, not just one helping, but if I
Right.
eat wheat and wheat and wheat and wheat, even if it's a little throughout the week, within a couple of
But
days.
that wasn't all your life.
No, it wasn't all my life.
I think that they're making things, and we were doing everything organic, but I think that's the way that things are growing now. It's a little bit different. So if that's a tip too, right? If you're having some arthritis, you might want to do a food journal and see,
Absolutely.
because with an elimination diet, and see there might be something that seems healthy that might for you affect you, and not just everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next thing that I'll do, and we'll wind up using this, is I have dates. What do you call that, Amy? Date paste, right? So I'll take the date paste, which I keep. I have tons of this stuff actually. Really, I mean literally. I have not maybe not a ton, but probably about 40 pounds of it.
Yeah, well, it
I
is
bought it.
vacuum packed, so
Yeah.
you can and for some people they use dates, and we have used dates also, but when you use dates, you have to take the pit out and be careful with it. And you can make your own date paste
This
if
is
you
what I
just
get. It's not organic, regrettably, but it's only $3, and
yeah,
you get 13 ounces. 13 ounces. I figured out how many dates it was in order to do this, but I forget what it was.
right. And there is you can get organic
Yes, you can.
also.
You
So it's
can.
not that it's
The
not
date lady,
available.
the date lady makes it organic,
Yeah, and they're great.
and it's tasty. It's beautiful, but it's also a whole lot more expensive. And I probably should, but I don't. So then I take some water, pour it in there. You can just use applesauce because my main thing is going to be applesauce and dates for sweetener, and that'll be it. So then I
Right.
take this ninja thing again.
And I'm muting his microphone so that you don't have to hear it. It's not too loud, but some people wear earbuds, so I try to think about you as far as that goes. But look how quickly that and this ninja is so easy to clean up. That's what I really love about it. The blade comes out, and there you go. It's just you can people put it in the dishwasher. I just wash it by hand because it's not like it's not hard to clean. And also the red lid, like if you mix something in there and then you had to hurry up and leave or something. Oh, go ahead.
Oatmeal. organic. I use the whole container.
Yeah, so it's
One and a
unsweetened.
half pounds.
That's unsweetened applesauce. That's another sweetener. So that red lid, you can put that on top of there and on top of the Ninja, and then just put in the refrigerator if you want to use it to store what you just mixed up.
Right. So I'm not sure if I'm completely done with this, but
and this is so lovely because these, I mean, it looks like a lot of cookie mix. But this is another thing that Rick likes to batch cook because
well, we go through them
we
a
do.
lot.
We
We
yes.
eat 2 cookies a day
Yes.
with ice cream.
Yes. Nice cream.
Nice
Non-dairy
cream.
nice cream.
Yeah.
And yeah, but these cookies will freeze.
Yes.
So
Oh, they
that's
freeze
why
beautifully.
Rick makes this giant batch of cookies, because then after they're done, he puts them in small Ziploc bags, two in each, and then he can throw them all in a big bag in the freezer.
Ziploc.
And then whenever you want cookies,
Just a little sandwich bag.
yeah, just in a little sandwich bag, and there you go. And then if you put it in the microwave for under 30 seconds, depending on the power of your microwave, they thaw out. Or you just take them with you, and then by the time you're ready to eat them, they thaw it out, and they're delicious and so good. And this is just a wonderful way to enhance this lifestyle so that you don't feel deprived, because there are treats, lots of delicious treats that are healthy.
Okay, most people when they cook, they'll make that flack egg. So they'll take the flack, a teaspoon of
The
flack
ground flax seed.
with 4 teaspoons of water, and they'll mix it and let it sit 5 minutes. It turns into a goo. I just throw it in. I throw the liquid in. I figure it's going to turn into a goo. You
Yeah.
know, that's your binder. But you got oatmeal for binder. You got applesauce for binder. You know, so the ground chia and the ground flack. I like the flack because it gives it a more earthy flavor, and I like that flavor. And I like the cardamom inside of it because people are like, what is that? And it's cardamom, cinnamon and cardamom. It's two of my favorite. Anyway, this is my concoction. I think that I originally started off with Kathy Fisher. Kathy Fisher has a book, and I used her oatmeal. I deviated from it, put applesauce. I changed it around. But that was where I started.
That was your inspiration.
Yeah, I get inspiration from other people, and I say, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. This will taste better if I put that in there, blah, blah, blah.
And Kathy Fisher has been on the show a few times and has done some beautiful recipe demos.
So here it is. This is the consistency.
Let's see. We'll show that again. See, yeah.
So it's like cement. This is the consistency you want. Cement. It's perfect. Or spackle for your drywall. I do them all. Anyway.
Yeah, that's good
I did them
to
all.
show
I don't
that.
know anymore. I used to. All right. So then the next thing that you need
is a cookie sheet.
Are cookie sheets.
Yep.
So I'm going to show you what I got. Okay, garlic press. If you don't have a garlic press, get yourself a garlic press. That's another gadget. All right. Spoon rest. So when you're cooking, you can put your spatulas and everything, so it doesn't get everywhere. So this is really important. People take for granted, but it's necessary. If you have a glass top stove, get yourself a razor blade. All right, and that razor blade will scrape off all the little crusty stuff, and then you just wipe it down. You know, wipe it, wet, scrape it. This will not score your glass.
Right, just as long as it's wet, and you want to go gentle at first, and that's, yeah, we've saved quite a few burnt on.
We have this one, and then this one, and this one replaces the razor blades. This one, I don't know if we can replace the razor blades. This one slides in and out, so maybe you can. I don't think so. Anyway, this one I can replace with. So we have the keeps my thing looking nice. Serrated knife, spatula. Don't forget, if you see this anywhere, buy it and send it to me. I'll reimburse you.
Or just tell us where you got it and
Yeah,
when
tell
you'll
us where
get
you
it.
got it. Amy's more cautious than me. I don't want to spend $25 on it,
I
but
don't want
I
anybody
probably would.
to me anything that I don't want to make you
Okay,
do that.
so
But
then you get yourself a cookie sheet. I used to have those non-sticks. Amy said, nope, you can't have that. It's got to be stainless steel. So I bought a stainless steel cookie sheet, and then I get a sill mat or parchment paper. Okay, now I want to show you something with the parchment paper. We use the sill mat inside of these things, and you get these on Amazon as well. They work really great. But here's a parchment paper. Okay, she got this holder. So the parchment paper comes, you pull it out, this thing slides across and cuts the parchment paper off. So it holds it inside there. So you take the roll, pop it inside this thing, pull it through the little slot. Wrong camera, Aim. Well, anyway, you get the point.
you don't know, it doesn't go through that.
Does not? Oh,
Nope.
okay. That's
Nope.
why. That's why I'm having a hard time.
That's why it's so
Not
easy.
supposed to go through there, right?
No, it just goes out. Yep.
That's right. That's what the slot. Yeah. See, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Because
Well,
I'm the sous chef. I'm the one that loads these things up.
I just cut.
He just says,
Okay.
"Oh, I have parchment paper. Thank
And
you."
she has a bigger one for aluminum foil. Same thing. You take that aluminum foil, goes inside. If you don't have these, it'll rock your world. Makes a whole lot of difference. She also has them for your.
And I just want to let everybody know that we do sometimes use aluminum foil, and that's
This is for the cellophane.
yep.
You know, and it says the same thing. You pull it across, slide that little lever, and it slices it off. So yesterday we had a watermelon. Went like this with the watermelon, went across, sliced it off, laid it down. None of that wrinkly stuff catching everything, and you're like, oh.
And I want to let everybody know that I'm cautious with the way we use aluminum foil. Sometimes I want to cover a really big casserole dish, and
put parchment paper down first.
so I put parchment paper on top first, then the aluminum foil molded over it, so the aluminum foil is not touching the food, just in case. And that's another tip for you. How about that? Okay, so here we go.
This is what I do. I use my hands. I just make little meatballs. I don't know if you ever made meatballs before, but we don't anymore. Well, we do. I make them with bean burgers and things like that. They don't have to be perfect, but you kind of gauge it after a while, and you know the size that you make them. Amy says I make them too big, but we only eat one cookie, so therefore it's like eating two. But you only say, well, I'm only going to have one. But we actually have two. I don't understand that, but we know we want.
It's bet you can't just eat one.
No, and same thing with the potato chips I'm going to show you how to make.
Hey, Green Warrior, what's your favorite kitchen gadget? Tell us what it is and why. Tell us in the chat, because I would like you to tell us what you like to use, because we're always looking for things to help us out in the kitchen.
So what I do is I make the meatballs, and then I just flatten them out into about a half-inch thick cookie. And there you go. And if your hands are moist, it doesn't stick to it much. Uh-oh. I got too many things in the way. Okay, let's go over here and show you some stuff. Well, now let me finish this. Let me finish making these real quick, and then we'll show you some stuff.
See, there's another tip. You just take the other baking sheet and you turn it around the other way, and now they're not nesting on top of each other. And
as long as your cookies are small enough where they don't stick to the bottom, otherwise it's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that they were okay. Yeah, I didn't have to. Okay. Well.
And I love how sometimes you rinse your hands off so that they're not too sticky. You can handle the cookies.
When your hands are, and then you can always You can eat them off your fingers before you wash them. That's what I do. Okay.
Yep, that's a bonus about being the cook because you get to taste everything as you're cooking, and everything tastes delicious.
It's
Yeah,
the
so you
bonus of being a vegan cook because you
yeah.
couldn't do this if you were using eggs. You get potentially
Well, you
get sick.
shouldn't do it, that's for sure.
Okay, let me show you this real quick. Amy, every day, tell them what this is, Amy.
Okay, so I sprout seeds, and in here I am sprouting broccoli seeds. And I have them in every day. I put some soaked broccoli seeds in these trays, and so there are different phases of growth. So, and then I rinse them twice a day, and that's it. And then Rick likes to put them in our smoothies, or you can sprinkle them on top of a salad. And really, there's such a benefit to eating sprouted broccoli seeds, and even better benefit to eating them over just broccoli. And
Yeah,
it's
so we
so
eat broccoli
inexpensive.
sprouts. We eat broccoli sprouts every day.
Yeah, I
As
even made a
long as she
video.
got. Yeah.
I made a video showing you how I do it. You can also sprout them in a mason jar, and that's how I started out, just sprouting them in a mason jar. But I like this method better.
Yeah,
It's
broccoli's not easy. It's not as easy.
yeah.
She really takes good care of it. I mean, she rinses it 2 3 times a day.
I rinse them twice a day. So just in the morning when I wake up, I rinse them, and then before I go to sleep, I rinse them again, and that's it. And it's
Okay.
such a cute little and but they're be on the lookout because those sell out when they get them in stock, they sell out so quickly. I actually have 2 sets. I started off with 1, now I have 2 sets because I love them so much and they're so pretty.
Oh, you see, I got a little bit of stuff on the bottom of this one. Oh,
Oh,
you want
that was a
make sure you wipe it.
yeah.
That's okay. No big deal. I have to show you. I have to show you this other thing so I can move my Breville. Um, you want to tell them about the Breville, Amy?
Yeah, so we this is something else that we started off with one of those air fryers where you it has a little handle and it's black and you pull out the tray, and we found that it just really wasn't giving us enough room for the volume of food that we wanted to make. I think it's good for maybe 1 or 2 people, but when we make air fried potatoes and other things, so we found out about the Breville, and that was our gift to each other for
It's
some
not cheap.
holiday. It's
It's not
not
cheap, but it's cool.
yeah, it's not, inexpensive, but it has so many things that it does. One of the things I like about it is, especially if it's a hot day and you wanna cook something in the oven, you're not heating up the whole kitchen, and, that doesn't come with the Breville, that's something that we found in Aldi's.
These are sill mats, but they have a metal ring inside of it,
Yeah, they're
and they fit
steel
inside the
reinforced.
Breville perfectly. So
Yeah.
this one comes with a wire rack, a regular wire rack, and one of these, I think. And we bought another one.
Yeah. So you can air fry in the Breville. It's also a convection oven. It's a regular oven. So there's a lot of things that you can do with it. And I really love to when Rick makes different air fried things, and you can make so much at a time versus
This
those little air fryers.
this thing rocked my world
Yeah,
because
that's a
normally
recent thing, recent find.
I put a sill mat inside of here, and then I put the cubed potatoes in because we make air fried potatoes inside this. And then after they brown up a little bit, I dump them onto the wire rack so it circulates through like that. Now this thing, but this one here, I could just put on top of it and then dump it. I'm not. It's not flimsy like the sill mat is. When I saw this, I said, I think it's just going to fit inside of here, Amy. And she said, Are you sure? And I was like, I think so.
Yep, you're right. You're
But
always
look at that. This is the rack. Fits like perfectly on the rack. I was hoping it would go inside of this, but it sits on top of it. Anyway, love it. And I love this thing because it air fries, it bakes, it dehydrates. It's wonderful.
Yep. So that's another one of the gadgets. And, we've been doing this since 2012. So we didn't just go out and buy all these things all at once, and in the beginning, we didn't even know if we were going to stick to it. but because of the success that we had with our weight loss and with our health, we have been whole food plant-based now for over a decade, and over the years, we have saved money because we're not experiencing illnesses as much, or we definitely are not spending money on any prescription medication because we don't require that anymore. And we don't go out to eat quite as often because our food just tastes so good and it's so healthy.
Well, and I like to
So,
cook. So.
and Rick does like to cook. So with the money that we saved on all those things, we have just decided that it really was a good investment because when you have things to make your life easier and making cooking easier, then you're more likely to do it and more likely and you'll have success with it.
Yes, and we also started a potluck thing up. So twice a month we have a group of people come over to our house. 6 to 10 people, sometimes a few more, and we do a potluck. They're all vegan. They're not all SOS, but the food that they bring is supposedly SOS free. And we socialize. It's real nice. I mean, we go out once in a while too, but
Yeah, we do. But that's how and if you want information on how to find a group in your area, let me know in the comments and I will tell you how to find a group in your area that meets up and does potluck dinners and things. Oh.
this is called the Ninja Creamy. This thing makes ice cream. Well, it makes it into a soft serve ice cream. You have to make the ice cream in a Vitamix, pour it into a bowl, which is this thing here. Oh, it's not in here. Anyway, I'll show you what it is.
Yeah, now there are other recipes for the Ninja Creamy where you don't have to blend anything up in the Vitamix. Some people have taken a can of unsweetened pears or peaches and just process them right in there, and then you freeze it. So there's a lot of different recipes that they have, but we love to use this for especially when we have guests come over.
Every potluck, they look forward to it. This is
Yeah.
one of the desserts. So it goes inside of this container. This is they make a 24 ounce. This is 16 ounce, I think, container. It's got a lid that goes on top of it. So once you make your mixture up, you pour it inside here, stick it in the freezer. It comes out frozen. You take it, pop the lid off, put it inside of here. You can do both cameras, love. Okay, put it inside of here, and then this blade spins around inside, and it pushes it down inside of here, and it just blends this all up into a cream.
Yeah, and it becomes but you can actually take an ice cream scoop and scoop out the ice cream, and
Yes,
wow, it's so good.
we use an ice cream scooper.
Yeah, and Rick makes, chocolate ice cream, and
That's what Amy likes.
that's really delicious. But he also makes them in the ice pop molds as well, so that we can always have ice cream without using the machine. We have just ice cream readily available to us that's in the freezer, and that's what Rick was talking about, that every night we have chocolate and ice cream, and he's gonna say,
Yeah.
"These are the last 2."
Oh, I gotta make more ice cream.
Yeah, those are for
So
tonight.
you take
And
it in, you put it in,
we actually
pop
have
it in.
2 trays of these, and when Rick makes them up, he puts them in there so that this way we can have them, and then he freezes them overnight, and then it's not scoopable, but it lasts longer this way when it's an ice pop instead of from the Ninja Creamy, but it's
Okay,
so good.
let's show them these things. Anyway,
Oh,
30 minutes on the 30 minutes on the these are super cubes. So if you don't have a super cube, it is a silicone ice cube tray. And this one comes in 1 cup. This is 1 cup per. So we freeze our beans in this. We freeze soups inside of these. I freeze my dog food inside of this. I'll show you a dog food thing that I just made.
yeah, because our puppy Zeus is vegan, and we make his food, and I have videos on that and recipes on that in my blog, begreenwithamy.com. And what we like to do is especially like with his food, we will take it and we will put it in the after we batch cook for Zeus, and then we put it in the super cube, and Rick's going to show us. So there you go.
So it goes inside the super cube, comes out looking like this little brick. Then I put them inside of a plastic bag, and then I stick them in the refrigerator to defrost them. And you can see that it just, once they're defrosted, they crumble apart. And I put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds so it warms up to him. I mean, he's right here at my feet because he knows what I just did.
And he
Anyway,
loves it. Yeah.
he's
So,
probably gonna bark
and
soon
but that's
because
something that now you can after you pop it out. I don't know if you guys can see him. He's on the floor. But anyway, after you pop it out, it we you can take 2 of those trays, which will give you 8 cubes, and you can get 8 cubes into a gallon size Ziploc bag. And
right.
then right, so you don't have to store them after they freeze. Pop them out, put them in a Ziploc bag, and then put that bag in the freezer, and now you've got the super cubes to use again for something else.
I forgot inside. If I forgot inside the cookie, I forgot the vanilla powder, so they're not going to taste as good. And I normally put hemp seed in it as well. They were off to the side, mixed in with all the rest of this stuff. Sorry.
Rick
So
is cooking a lot of
don't
stuff.
forget your vanilla and
Yeah,
the hemp
but
seed,
and that recipe is on the begreenwithamy.com website. So,
and get
uh,
yourself a funnel.
yeah,
This is a little silicone funnel, and you can fill up your jars when you fill up with the chia seeds or the cinnamon, or in my case, I just did date syrup inside of a jar that I refilled.
I like the silicone funnel because it doesn't take up as much space in the drawer because you can compress it and then it pops open again later. So I really like that a lot. That's a another good tip. There's just so many great things that, and some of these gadgets, I mean, even if you're not plant-based, if you have friends or family, they may enjoy using them as well.
Okay, next gadget, Amy.
Okay, next
This
gadget.
this is an air.
Okay.
It
So this is a sealer, a vacuum sealer.
so you take your wet or dry food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you want to freeze after you've batch cooked, you can put them in Ziploc bags and things like that. But this is like if you really want to seal something and really get all the air out of it. So because you're going to do a long-term seal, or maybe
And then
you're
you freeze it.
traveling, right? Maybe you're
You can put your
traveling.
smoothies inside of this. You know, you can put a cooked meal, and this stuff is microwavable if you wanted to. We
Yeah.
don't.
No, we don't microwave the plastic bags.
It also does jaws, so you can do canning per se with this. So I'll take beans, put them inside of a mason jar, suck the air out of it, and store
Yeah.
them inside the pantry. Well, so I use this at least twice a month, you know, to do that. And then with the oatmeal, see this oatmeal? This is a bag, and it's got a little hole here. This thing sits inside there, and it sucks the air out of the bag, so it
Vacuum
becomes
sealed. Yeah.
vacuum sealed. And then I'll toss them inside of the freezer, or you can just keep them in the pantry. Totally up to you because it's vacuum packed. I noticed that the air kind of leaks out of the bags
Yeah, but when you use
quicker.
the machine to heat seal it, then it really is it stays there. Yeah,
Get one of them.
absolutely.
And then Amy from another, like my birthday, I'm not gonna pick it up. This is a dehydrator. It's called an Excalibur. So can you see that in the background?
Yep.
These, you got 8 trays of this. It comes with a sill mat. No, it doesn't come with the sill mat. You have to
Nope.
buy it extra. But it comes with a mesh, plastic mesh. But you get the sill mat because you want wet stuff and you got to put it on the sill. If you have dry stuff, you just stick it here. So when I do the sweet potatoes for Zeus, because I make him sweet potato chewies, kind of like the those
It's
pig
like
ears that you
yeah,
got.
it's like a rawhide thing, but it's
Raw.
healthy. It's sweet potato and he slices them and then he puts them in the dehydrator and then
And I make his
Zeus likes
dried
to
dog
chew on
food
them.
inside there as well, but I also make crackers inside that.
Yeah.
I mean, or you could dehydrate. Like I said, if you have a mango tree, you take the ones that are like this, put it on the sill mat, dry them out, and they come out like that. Jerky. You're not supposed to have jerky, but this is the mango. It's a dried mango. And you can make that inside there. You can do it with bananas. You can do pineapples. You can make the dehydrated treats that you would put inside of your trail mix. Have some nuts, put in some dried pineapple, put in some dried mango, put in some, well, okay. Where are we at? Okay, so you guys have to decide.
Okay, now it's viewer's choice for the next recipe.
Your 1 hour is over, Amy. This is where it's supposed to end, by the way. But
so Greenmore, do you want Rick to make one more recipe, or are you ready for us to sign off? Tell us in the comments if you want us to make another recipe or not. And Rick is he's opening the refrigerator because he's gonna make it even if we're not on.
That's what I'm gonna make it anyway, so I might as well stay on.
Okay.
How about I make that walnut pate stuff, and then I'll just make the stuffed mushrooms. Because I have these mushrooms and they're gonna go bad. Oh, I got these portobello caps. We could do them. I could show you. We made some for. This is what you're gonna make. Let me get a plate. So here, this is a mushroom cap stuffed with it's sweet potatoes, a walnut pate, which is onions, mushrooms, and vegetables. So I take a California mix and I mix it all together with the sweet potato, put it on top of that, throw it in the oven, 350, 20 minutes to a half hour till all the juices come out, and then you serve it, and it's delicious.
And here's another thing that we like that Rick is showing right there. That is a lock and lock kind of storage, and it's a glass storage
instead of plastic.
Yeah. And as long as the food's not touching the plastic, then you have all glass in your storage.
Usually it's watertight.
Yeah, and it doesn't leak or anything. So that's another thing that we love to use for storing so many different things that Rick makes. And also ahead of time, what we like to do is we make salad. So I have 10 of that size, and we make our salad and store them in there.
And these are air fried potatoes. I take those little new potatoes, throw them inside the Breville, and make air fried potatoes. They're quite good, even when they're cold.
You're making me hungry.
I'm hungry.
Looks so good.
But these are the potatoes. I'll buy something like this. Oh, those little. They make great little stuffed eggs too. So I'll take these. I'll cook them inside of the Instapot, which I didn't show you yet.
Yep, and that's another.
Every household needs an Instapot.
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't have one, get one. They make them in a 3-quart, 6-quart, 8-quart, 10-quart, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is a 6 or the 8. Which one is this?
It's a 6.
The 6?
Yeah.
Anyway.
If you want to get an 8-quart, I suggest you measure the height of your countertops and cabinets and things before you do that, because if you want it, it might be too high.
So you take this screen and you put it inside your Instapot. Then you take the water and you fill it up to just the bottom of that screen. Then you take your potatoes, put it in. If you're doing these new potatoes, 3 minutes. Natural pressure release. If you're doing sweet potatoes and you want them mushy, which is the way I like them, which is the way you just saw that other sweet potato.
And I have these recipes in my blog on begreenwithamy.com, so you can get all the directions and instructions.
So you see this sweet potato right here? Look how mushy this is. Look at that. You see that? See how it busts open? You can eat that like pudding. Anyway, they're delicious. 6 minutes. Natural pressure release. Again, just a little bit of water with that screen inside of there. Now, you don't have to have the screen. You can have it sitting in the water, but it doesn't come out as good.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're getting a lot of great tips here. That these are things that we have learned for over a decade of living this lifestyle, and Rick's sharing everything with you today.
Without the screen, you make beans. So you take your beans, throw it inside there. If you want black beans, 30 minutes. I put them in, I rinse them, I let them soak a little bit, but for the most part, not. 30 minutes, 35 minutes if they're fresh. And they come out nice and soft.
Yeah.
I do chickpeas 40 minutes, natural pressure release.
And I have all the instructions on blogs on my website, begreenwithamy.com, and it's all free. So if you want to learn how to make these things, they are available to you.
And when you do your Vitamix, I had this Vitamix. We've had this Vitamix for almost 10 years now.
Yes.
I know we're out of warranty. Anyway, this is my third pitcher because the bearings have worn out and they were under warranty the whole time. We had to buy a new one, but they give you a new one if, in fact, it's under warranty. The lid, that little plastic thing, which is clear, for some reason it was inside of here after the holiday. And then I went to make my breakfast. I didn't look inside of it, which I always do. I threw all my stuff in. I turned it on. And I was like, oh.
So there's your tip. Never put anything in your blender or food processor until you look inside and make sure that everything looks clear. And then with the food processor, make sure your blade's in there.
Right.
Because sometimes people put it in and there's no blade in the food processor.
This is the thing I'm talking about. This is from my other one. This is from the dried one, but that thing got all chopped up, and I had to throw out all of my stuff because you want to eat.
No, we didn't want to eat any plastic.
Oh, and even still, I mean, those things were like shards of sharp. I mean,
yeah,
would have been terrible. So what are we making, Amy?
Yeah. So what did you want to do, Rick?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, let's show them this stuff real quick before they all leave.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, now this is one of my favorite gadgets.
See, this was for the Instapot. This is for the chopper thing.
Yep. And I'll have links to all these things in the show notes. And if you can't find it, just tell me what you want and in the comments, and I'll tell you how to find it.
This thing here comes with a whole bunch of different gadgets. This is a spiralizer. So you take your zucchini and it comes out like spaghetti. No, you take your potato and it comes out like string fries. It's wonderful, all right? You just take it, put it on there, and you push it in, and it comes out. This comes with it as well, and it's a chopper. So you put your vegetables in there. Comes with several different sizes. That locks in, this locks in, and then you just chop it. It comes out in little cuts. This is a mandolin. So all of these fit inside like that. Chop. Here, I'll show you. Here's a potato. Right? Look at what it turned it into. Can you see that? Huh? Look at that. Tiny little piece of it.
That is awesome. Yes, and I love that machine. It just does so many things and makes, if you're making a salad, it's going to chop your onions without tears. It's going to chop radishes, cucumbers, carrots, all kinds of veggies that you might want to put in there. If you want to make potato chips, because Rick likes to make.
That's what we're going to do right now.
Or others. Oh, goody. My vote was potato chips because.
Oh, yeah, I want to show you this also.
I love the potato chips.
Can you see this thing?
Okay, let's take a look at that.
For a birthday or something.
Yeah, that's all.
Anyway, it's got these containers. So it's a cutting board that you cut here, and you slide the stuff into this container, And then when this one's full, you just take this one and move it over, you know, and you chop and you fill it up. It's a nice little gadget. It's kind of cool. Anyway, we use that every time we make salad. Isn't that right, Amy?
Yes, yes, and it's wonderful. And those little drawers have lids so that if you chopped up something and you wanted to store it in the refrigerator for a little while, you could do that too. And it also comes with some attachments like a mandolin and things like that. But just for cutting up things, and then because every time you're, especially if you have a small kitchen, it's really great. But whenever you're cutting up things and you get a pile of something that you cut up, you can just take that drawer out, put it to the side, take another drawer, put it in the empty slot, and then chop up something else. And it's just, yeah, we use it all the time.
Get yourself a scrub brush, okay? Because you take the sweet potato and you scrub them underneath the sink.
Yes.
This is what I'm going to do right now to clean this potato.
Yep. And that's what we like to do is
And she has one dedicated for organic and one dedicated for regular.
yes, just in case. And they're different colors because I don't want to mix my brushes together.
Mandolin, when you use a mandolin, if you don't, you really should not use your fingers, not use your hands. These are cut-proof gloves, but they also, all mandolins come with this little thing with nails inside of it where you can slide, you know.
Yeah, it comes with a guard.
It comes with a guard. Use it. Otherwise, you'll lose the tip of your fingers.
Yeah, it could be really bad. So you don't want
Anyway,
to
so I have this thing set at a certain level to make my potatoes. So check that out. So I just cut a potato into 16-inch thick pieces, right? Now, one of the best things that I've found to make it on is parchment paper. So I cut the parchment paper the size of the microwave dish. All right, and then I line that.
He actually uses that glass dish. He takes it out and he uses it as a guide.
I'll show you.
And he cuts it out so that this way it's the perfect size.
Here's the glass dish, right? Here's the thing. Put it on top. And you take these things and you just put them around like that. Can you see?
We'll take a close-up.
I need to cut the other potato up.
That was so awesome how quickly that potato was sliced in the mandolin. And you can see he puts the parchment paper underneath, so this way it just kind of catches it on the parchment paper. And by using that glove, he doesn't have to worry
you don't cut
about
yourself.
cutting himself.
And you get a good feel for it.
Yeah, and he can get pretty close to the end.
I would cut myself already.
Yeah.
Look, this is the blade. I would have sliced my finger right open.
That would have been terrible. Yeah.
Correct. That would have been terrible. I'd be in the hospital right now.
Yeah, so this is a great way to and now when Rick makes these, do you remember what number setting you were on the mandolin?
I'm in between this one. Every mandolin's a little different. This one is around the 2 mark. These are a little thicker than I normally make it. Somehow it got notched up. I usually have it at the 1.5 mark. But anyway, so I kind of stuff these things inside of here. We'll just leave them out. Right? Then this one will go in for, I'll start it off at 6 minutes.
Now your microwave is going to vary. So depending on how many watts you have on your microwave, right? Some people have 750, some people have 1100. So you might have to watch over them in the beginning just to be sure.
How's that look, Amy?
Let's take a look and see. Hang on. All right, there you go.
Okay, so I put it on 6 minutes.
So
we'll see what it looks like in 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think we have an 1100 watt microwave, I believe, right?
This one here, I think it's 1,000.
Oh, 1,000?
Might be a 900.
No, you're right. It is 1,000.
Okay, take it off. I'm gonna move the camera.
Okay, hang on a second.
I'll just show my pretty face. Hi guys. Okay, we're gonna go back to this here. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. We're gonna get that off of there. So this is
Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is make. What are we doing? Oh, I'll show you how to make the tortilla chips as well. Since we're in a chip mode, right?
yeah. So Jess Pat's Voice is watching, and she said she's our engineer. And she said maybe you can move some things out of the way that you're not using so we can get a better view at what you're making. But I'm going to show you cutting those things up as well.
Well, I already cut them. All
Okay.
you do is take the tortillas, cut them into triangles. And
Yeah.
you do the same thing. You just
And what's
try.
nice about this is that while one is cooking, you can have another piece of parchment paper and line them up on this parchment paper while that one is going, so that
That's
you're ready
correct.
to
I,
move
I
on.
I do that all the time. That's why I have two parchment papers.
Yeah. And this is a big hit. The potato chips and the tortilla chips are such a big hit whenever we have gatherings. And thanks said, oh, well, thanks said, yum. So thinly sliced, can't wait to make these. Yeah, and no oil, you
Right.
know.
You can season them with like the table tasty or salt free thing. I used to in the beginning, but I decided the flavor's just fine the way that it is, especially if you make a hummus or a dip or something to go with it, which most people do. So there you go. So I'll take that and I'll slide it onto a plate. And then I'll take the plate and I'll slide it into the microwave. So anyway, this one's ready to go. 3 minutes. 3 minutes with this, maybe another 30 seconds. 3.3, depending on your microwave. If you leave them a little few 2 seconds too long, they're gonna burn on you. Same thing with those. Usually it takes about 7 minutes for me, but I put it on 6 to start off with. Now we can do the butternuts. No, we're not gonna do the butternut squash. We'll just do these.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of this food, well, not the chips. We don't freeze the chips, and they don't last
No,
long
Amy
enough
eats
to
the chips so
freeze.
quickly I can't even keep up with
Yeah, they don't last long enough anyway. But yeah, but a lot of this food you can freeze. So, it looks like Rick is making a lot of food and it's just the two of us. But it's going to be available, when you come home and you're like, "Oh, what's for dinner? I don't want to cook," or whatever. You just go in the freezer and pop out a super cube or and heat it up in the microwave for a couple of minutes. And now you've got your soup or your stew. And or if you go and you've stored a couple of mushrooms, there's just so many things. And then you can always grab a bag of frozen vegetables and add it to what you already made, or grab a sweet potato, and he batch cooks the sweet potatoes. So oftentimes we just go in the refrigerator and grab already cooked food, and so you don't have to be cooking all the time.
Okay, so I took these caps, I washed the top, rinsed the bottom, let them drain a little bit. Then I take these stems out. Some people cut out the gills. I don't bother cutting out the gills. Then I just crumble this stuff up. Okay, this is going to be a part of my stuffing mix. Now, most of my stuff is already cooked.
I don't know if you guys can hear Zeus in the background. He's running running around outside in the
So here's my sweet
area.
potatoes. Okay, so I take the skin off the sweet potatoes, and they're cooked so much that they don't even need to masher.
Yeah, and that's because you did it in the Instant Pot. We used to, and you still could. We used to roast the sweet potatoes in the oven and batch cook
Yeah.
it that way on one of those cookie sheets, and you put the silicone mat or the parchment paper, and they came out good too. But this, you just set it and forget it, so you don't even have to worry about it. And
So much more work.
yeah,
Yeah, so much
yeah,
more work.
and they,
Anyway, so here to my next little gadget. It is a this is a pastry masher, but I use it as a potato masher. So someone told me it was a pastry, but I use it as a potato masher. So then I just mash up my. Okay, that means the cookies are cooked.
the
I
cookies
take
are
the lid
ready. Oh,
and take off.
if you guys could smell the beautiful smells of this kitchen, because I'm right next to it. Oh, everything smells so good. And we're just going to be in for so many treats. And this food is just going to last us a while. And it,
I'm gonna bring this camera over, so
okay, so
take me off for a minute.
I'm gonna put this on solo mode. Tell me what is it, Green Warrior, that you like to batch cook?
Okay,
And
turn it on so I can see what I'm
and
doing.
how do you make that? Okay. So
So that's the oven.
there's the oven. Ooh,
That's the cookies.
it's
Okay, now
cookie time.
so I have two levels. You know, you test them; they're firm. So the bottom will cook better than the top level. So I take these at the half-hour mark. I shut it off. I flip them around, and I put it back in. And I do like a natural pressure release. That's my thing. You know, about 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, and
Yeah, and that's another tip is that, you can turn the oven off and it's still gonna be cooking, but not risk the burning.
okay, I'm going to
So
show you the. This is 6 minutes. Okay, they're not ready, but what I'll do is I'll take them and I'll flip them over. These are a little thicker than I normally have. You know, they're gonna take 7 minutes easy. This way they don't stick because the top is no longer sticky. The bottom is sticky. So they won't stick to the parchment paper this way. But there's a lot of moisture underneath the parchment paper at this point.
yeah. And there's a purple silicone mat that I have on top of the glass plate that you might be able to see. And I like it because you can use it for many reasons. One is it makes it easier to clean the plate off, so you don't have to take the whole plate out. You can just take off that silicone mat and then rinse it off and put it back in the microwave for easy cleanup. It also acts as like a to protect you from the heat. So if something that you're heating up in the microwave, if it's really hot, you can just lift up that silicone circle and kind of use it like a pot holder, right? So yeah.
Then I take California mix and I add it to this mixture. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. It all depends on you. So this is cauliflower, carrots. Okay. Then I'll take some of the mushroom mix. Normally, all right, and I'll throw that in with it. We'll mix that all together. So you'll have sweet potato, mushrooms, and then I'll take some of my salad stuff. This is the salad dressing that we make with the
And
walnuts and the garlic and stuff.
and Rick has done that in a recipe demo too. It's on my YouTube channel, and you can see how easily he makes
If
that.
something doesn't taste good, take that mixture and add it to it. So
Yeah,
it's balsamic vinegar, it's walnuts, it's garlic, it's
and,
mustard,
and raisins.
and raisins.
And
That's why I go through raisins so much.
we batch cook that like once a week, and he makes a whole bunch of them and puts them in the jars, and they're a great salad dressing, and they also are great for cooking different things too. to add on some flavor to what you're already making.
And normally I'll make like a dozen of these at one time, but I'm not gonna. So I have this silicone, which is a cake pan, but I'll use it for this. So my mushrooms will go inside of here. Then I will take this mixture. You know, you can add cinnamon to this too. I think I'm going to because I like the flavor of cinnamon. So, and cinnamon's supposed to be good for you. What does cinnamon do for you, Amy?
Well, it's good if you have diabetes. It helps to stabilize your glucose. So and so that's one great thing that cinnamon does. So it's a friend of anybody that has diabetes or pre-diabetes.
Okay, so then I take this and I use my hands and I form a cap on it. Did you see that? Show the other angle as well, Ames.
Now that's a stuffed mushroom.
So I stuffed my mushroom like that. So this has everything that you want. It's got the potato, it's got the mushroom. I mean, it doesn't have beans, and you could squash beans inside of this, and have it as a bean mixture as well. So these caps, see that? There you go. And this is one of my favorite spatulas, as I told you in the past. This one, I sweep the sides down. We'll just eat this later instead of stuffing it inside of here. If I had another mushroom cap, I'd do that. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to take the oatmeal out. I'm going to put this in. The oatmeal cookies out. I'm going to put that in.
Okay. Yeah, and that's something, that stuffing, I mean, you could do stuffed peppers with it, right? Or you could make an eggplant boat where you cut the eggplant long ways down and take out the seeds and put it in the eggplant or in a zucchini. So or you could stuff that into a butternut squash or an acorn squash. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with that stuffing that make it so versatile, and it tastes so good. And these are the things that we like to eat, and these are the things that we enjoy, and they're so satisfying and so filling. And this is how we have maintained our lifestyle for over a decade, and we don't feel deprived because the food, yes, it is. Oh, let's take a look here.
These chips are a lot thicker than they were. Normally they're cooked by now, but because they're thicker.
Yeah. So that's why I had asked you what your setting was, because I wasn't sure. But
Yeah,
depending on
how made them thinner.
How thin you make them, but that's okay. They'll be good that way too. And but this is how you can eat whole food, plant-based, no sugar, oil, or salt, and still have delicious and satisfying food, and you don't have to weigh or measure, and you can sustain a healthy life and not feel deprived because you've got lots of different choices, and you even have desserts too. So
Okay, so check this out. So, because I didn't have any more stuffed mushrooms, I just took the rest of the vegetables. I have 2 sweet potatoes in here. I've got that mixture that I used the stuffing with, and I put this inside of here. This is a meal all by itself. And that will be for us at another time. And then I'll take that, I'll throw it in the refrigerator, and tomorrow.
Right, and that's something that I was telling you, all this stuffing that you made for the stuffed mushrooms, what you could stuff it into, but you don't have to, if you have some left over, you don't have to stuff it into anything, right?
Oh, I could have put the asparagus in there too. I forgot about the asparagus.
Ah, yeah. But there's always next time. And you can eat asparagus raw. Hey, Green Warriors, who likes asparagus? And have you ever eaten it raw? It's so delicious in the salad.
First time I had it was in a salad. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, that well,
I
that
was
was
in a
before we
restaurant.
went plant-based.
I said, what are these? What are these things?
What are these green things? Because they well,
All
they
it
were
was
cut
the
up.
stem. It didn't have the tips on it.
Yeah.
You know, 1 inch, little half-inch chunks. I said, what is this? And he said, that's asparagus, sir. And I was like, sir.
And our dog Zeus loves asparagus.
Oh yeah, he does. That's
Yeah.
good.
So he loves to chew on that. He eats a lot of well, he's vegan, so that's why he loves it. And it's so good for you too, right?
Yes, ma'am. So what's the
Okay,
next
so
thing we're making?
I think okay.
Oh, I didn't show you my food processor either. Don't
Yeah, the food processor.
get yourself a food processor, a good one, or a cheap one. Doesn't matter. This is a Breville 11 quart. I don't use it often, but when I do, it's a godsend. But the little food processor I use all the time.
The what I like about that particular food processor, maybe you want to show them, Rick, is that it has a wide mouth. So oftentimes when you get a food processor, you have to cut up the food in order to so that's how big. Put your hand, can you put your hand there so they can see? That's how big, put your like fingers inside of it. So yeah, that's how big the opening is for that's the
Like a
biggest
magic show.
opening. Yeah, like a magic show. But it has it has adapters so that if you wanted to put something smaller in that chute, that okay, it comes with a nest blade, and it also comes with 2 wheels that make different things, but I wanted to show them the adapter. So that's the adapter, so you can put it in where you if you had something a little smaller, it goes in there, and even smaller, like a carrot stick, you could put the carrot stick in there, and it wouldn't, like, get lost in there. So there's that and the fact that it has 11 quarts, so it's a large capacity, so you could be
They make them bigger.
processing yes, but you could be processing a lot of different things in there, like, we like to make coleslaw, so we'll t cut up cabbage into big chunks and put them inside of there, and then we will, you can just, shred cabbage so quickly because of that wide mouth, it takes you don't have to cut up the cabbage so small,
Okay, I
and
want to
then
show you that it's starting to go.
okay, so here,
You
we're
see,
back
it's
at the
starting to turn
microwave.
brown at this point. All right. So that's like another minute and a half, regrettably.
Yeah, well because you didn't slice them as thin as you really would have wanted to.
But this
And if
is the
you
point where you got to keep an eye on them.
yes.
Because an extra 10 seconds will mean the difference between good and bad.
Yeah.
But normally it's 6.5 to 7 minutes. You got potato chips if you cut them thin enough.
But that's okay because
Hey, here's my cookies. Look. You see the cookie? They hold together
mm,
nicely. Got a brown on the bottom. And they have a nice flavor even though they don't have vanilla in them. Anyway, so those will go in the refrigerator. There's my mushrooms. That's the soup stuff that we're going to make later. I will take this, asparagus, mushrooms, and probably the cauliflower blend and make that into a dinner.
mhm. Yep,
Yep.
it's gonna be so good.
I know, Zeus, you wanted. I teased you by giving you a piece of there you go.
Yep.
There you
There's
go.
Zeus
Oh.
down there. He's begging for scraps.
Well, he wants the asparagus.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He loves that too.
Okay, I think I showed you all my little gadgets that I had out. And a few things.
Sounds like maybe the potato chips are ready. So
They're getting closer.
they're getting
I'm
closer.
going to grab one more thing.
Okay. And you also made the tortilla chips too.
Can you see how they're starting to turn brown?
Let's take a look. Yeah. You can see there's brown spots on the chips. And that's where it can go from brown to really dark brown and maybe not as tasty. So that's why you have to kind of watch at the last 30 seconds or so. But
And
typically, yeah.
yeah, some of them don't cook as evenly as the others, so you might have to pop the other ones out. So it's not.
It's not a science. It's not an exact science, but it is so
It's
good.
worthwhile. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But this is 2 potatoes right there, so it goes pretty quick. Amy would devour those things
Oh,
in a
yeah.
heartbeat.
I am all about these potato chips. And that's the advantage of cooking is you get to taste as you go in this lifestyle, and you can have a lot of good fun times. And there you go. Wow. They look like they're just about ready. But
Yeah,
if you slice them thinner, then they would have already been ready. And that's how you can learn, and that's that's the learning curve. I remember one time we were having a potluck dinner, and Rick had said to me, he wasn't at home, and he said, "Can you go and make some potato chips?" And I did, and I also made some of the tortilla chips as well.
yeah. I think
But
you made the tortilla chips.
my first batch, they
Was burnt.
burnt.
So I'm going to take
But
these
then
out,
I
even though they're
learned,
still pliable.
and I guess the message is, you know, you got to try. You really do. You have to try.
Everything, life is a learning curve.
Life is learning, and some people, they step in the kitchen and they make masterpieces, and some people are like me, and they might burn things. But if you keep doing it, I made a few more batches of those chips, and they turned out wonderful because that you learn,
When these things
and
cool
that's
down, they should be hard. Right now, they're still a little pliable, but a lot of times I'll take them, I'll throw them inside the Breville dehydrator,
yeah,
and leave them in there for about an hour, and they'll get really, really crispy. So there'll be no soft spots at all.
yep, and
But if you
that's
left them in the microwave, they'll burn.
yeah. So that's another thing that is nice
But
to
you can see
know.
them browning up already, right? Look at that.
Yeah,
I mean, like this one here. That one's getting to the point. You leave it in there a few more minutes, it'll be burnt up. We'll take them out. We'll leave these in.
yeah,
But here's the chips. See them?
yum.
My cookie. Mmm. I like the cookies better than the chips. Amy likes the chips better than the cookies.
Well, I like them both, and it just depends on what mood I'm in for whatever I'm doing. But they're very crispy and crunchy, and this just it makes you appreciate that this is cooking, right? This is not in a
See,
plant where they're
see,
adding
look,
on.
look at how quickly they went from that to that.
Yeah. So you gotta. That's it. That's good enough.
And that's it. Those are your chips. Now
Yum.
for the tortillas. I'll be back in a second. Amy, take me.
Okay. Yeah. So now Rick is going to go ahead and make the tortilla chips in the microwave, and sometimes he likes to squirt lemon on them just for a different taste. And if you wanted any kind of spices on them, by putting a little lemon juice on them, then the spices would stick onto them better.
Are
So
you
now
ready?
he's got them inside the microwave, and they're ready to go.
And I'll do 3 minutes, 30 seconds, because that's what I got these down to.
Ah, yep. And that's what it is when you're developing recipes.
Because
You,
these are all the same.
Yeah,
Those are
those
those
are
mission,
evenly cut because they were, yeah,
those are those mission.
yeah,
What are they?
yeah. So that's the kind that we get because if you
Mission
don't,
thin crust.
those are thin. If you don't get the thin ones, you may not get the same results.
Yeah, and every microwave is different. So here's one of those chips. Listen. Oh, not quite. This one.
Wow. Mm.
Mm.
I hope Rick saves some for me.
You better come in here.
Are you ready for me to come in, or you? Oh, you got to do the.
2 minutes and 30 seconds. What else am
Yeah,
I doing?
I
Am I
think that's
making it?
it. Does anybody have any questions for Rick, or you want to talk to us about what you've made, or maybe if you are would like to see a recipe that we haven't shown yet, maybe for a future recipe demo, let us know. And Evan wants to know, do you? Oh no, I'm sorry. Brett wants to know, do you prep breakfast foods as well, or just lunch and dinner?
Almost every day we have breakfast smoothies. We don't eat until close to 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She'll get up at like 5:30 in the morning, do all the stuff in the kitchen, clean up. I get up around 8:30,
And I exercise, right?
and then she exercises. You know, I'll exercise a little bit, and then I'll make the drinks. Usually, recently we started going outside and sitting on a lanai and drinking our drinks, but it's been cold lately. So, but no, we do not. To your answer, because my breakfast drink is goes broccoli sprouts, carrots, kale or spinach, blueberries, flaxseed, chia seed, um, sometimes something else, but then I'll blend it all together and we'll just drink it. So it's like you're drinking your fruit, you're drinking your greens, you're drinking your beets, your carrots, and that's how we start the day. Just flood our bodies with nutrients. Um,
Okay. Alicia wants to know, have you found any gadgets that were a waste of money?
mm, not everything is the best quality. There's no doubt about that. If you get some kind of use out of it, a lot of times you'll find a better quality product. Not totally a waste of money because we're kind of cautious on the things that we purchase. I
Yeah.
have a good mechanical mind, so I can look at things and say, it's going to be a piece of junk. Other things, like those sill mats that went inside the Breville, I was like,
Yeah.
I want these because even though I had something that worked, these would just work so much better because they had that steel rim. I
Yeah.
could just slide it in, slide it out.
Ooh, I think I hear the microwave, and that means that the tortilla chips, it may be time and they may be ready. So
Yeah,
let's,
5 seconds too long.
uh-oh.
Let me show you. Let me show you what 5 seconds will do.
Oh, let's
No,
see.
they're still good,
Yeah,
but they're a little bit too
a
brown.
little bit brown. Yeah.
5 seconds too long, and that's because I didn't stuff the plate as full as I normally do.
And that's a good tip to know, because if you put more on there, then it takes longer to cook.
But they're still good.
Oh yeah, they're still gonna be good. And
You
that's,
know,
I
so
love
then
how
I
you
take
can
them
just
out.
pick up that parchment paper and remove them and then put them in a bowl and or on top of another piece of parchment paper. But yeah, you can put them on a plate. Yeah, so that there's the, maybe you can move some other things out of the way. So
Yeah, try and make it look a little prettier.
yeah,
Well, we did a lot all at one
yes,
time,
we
maybe.
did. Yes, we did. And that's the beauty of cooking, you know.
Okay, let me put this down. Take me off so I can move it
Okay, hang on.
without
Yeah.
freaking everybody out.
I hope all of you guys have been inspired by seeing all these wonderful things that Rick has been making. If you check out my website, begreenwithamy.com, I share lots of these recipes on there. And of course, check out our YouTube and our Facebook, and we do a lot of recipe demos on there as well. And we also have a recipe ebook. So if you're interested in that, there's a lot of recipes
Okay, how's that? Do you see it?
that, well, hang on a second. Ooh. Yeah, and there's the cookies. Look at all the wonderful things that that Rick made.
Hey, um, to a great extent, this is a way. If you buy the ebook, it's kind of like donating to help Amy with her channel, and you get a nice cookbook all at the same time. Not that we're advocating, but every little bit helps. It
Hey, I hear that crunching.
She puts a lot into this thing. I mean, a lot of time. A lot of time. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, it's important to me. This lifestyle really has made a wonderful difference in our lives. And for that reason, I really wanted to share it with the world. And I really appreciate all the Green Warriors that have subscribed to my YouTube and follow me on the Facebook and also on Instagram, because your support just means so much to me. And I really value everything that you put into this Green Warrior community, because you ask great questions and you participate and you chat amongst each other in the chat. So that's fun too. And that's why we do this broadcast. That's why Rick developed the recipe ebook. And if you go on my website, begreenwithamy.com, and you can purchase that recipe ebook, and it's got wonderful, wonderful recipes that Rick makes. And I really wanted to thank you, Rick, for all that you have done today and making all these wonderful recipes that you shared with us today and that I'm going to get to eat. And I hope that the Green Warriors were inspired by what you've done today, and maybe have thought that they would want to enjoy some of these delicious foods that they can make and try and make it at home. And if you do, tell me about it. You can comment on my blog or on the YouTube or Facebook and tell me about what you've tried, because I really would love for you to share your experiences with me. And so again, I want to thank you, Rick. You're the best hubby I could ever have. And
well, you're a pretty good wife.
aw. Well, Green
Uh,
Warriors, click like for Rick, because that's how we show our appreciation, right? So click like to show your appreciation for what he shared with us
this
today.
this is a tuno hummus tuno.
See, that was something else that we had in the refrigerator as a
Mm-hmm,
leftover, and you can use that as a dip. And then we have that recipe also
mm-hmm.
on the blog
Goes
and
good with the chips.
yeah. So, Green Warrior, what are you going to tell us? What you're going to remember from today's broadcast? Is there something that you want to make? And tell us which thing that you were inspired to make, which recipe. I also wanted to thank Just Has Voice. She did the promo and she did the countdown, and she helped so much in getting the word out about this broadcast. And Just Has Voice, tell us who's coming up next.
Are you tired of feeling unwell, even though you're doing everything your doctor recommended? Dr. Rogers returns to shed light on how chronic symptoms like fatigue, inflammation, high blood pressure, and even brain fog may be rooted in what you eat. Join us on Wednesday, April 30th, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, on Be Green with Amy Live.
And thanks again, Green Warrior, for joining us today. Your engagement and support make these discussions meaningful and impactful. And I hope you're feeling inspired to take a closer look at your food choices and make some positive changes for your health and well-being, and get inspired to get in the kitchen and make healthy and delicious food, because every bite that we take is an opportunity to nourish our bodies, and like me and my hubby Rick, become the healthiest versions of ourselves. And please stay tuned for more empowering content. Please subscribe to my channel and check out our recipe ebook, and share our message with others who you think can benefit, because together as Green Warriors, we can make a meaningful difference in the world. And as a special thank you to all of you, I'm offering you all 5 free recipes. So if you go to begreenwithamy.com/join, I will send you those 5 free recipes in the email, and that you can enjoy. And I also want to invite all of you to take your right hand and grab your left shoulder, and take your left hand and grab your right shoulder. Now squeeze, because that's a hug from me to you, from me to you, Rick.
Ah. Do you
And if
want to
you
see
want,
those stuffed mushrooms before we leave?
oh, okay, we'll do that. We're going to go and see the stuffed mushrooms, and he's going to take us over there in just a second. And if
Uh,
you and Roxy Fort said, "Thank you. This was fun." Oh, I'm so glad that you joined us, Roxy. We really loved having you join us today. And we're
Can
going
you
to
see
take a look
them?
at that oven, and here it comes. They're coming out now.
I'm going to
Look
give
at
them
that.
10 more minutes, but
Okay.
you can see the liquid is starting to ooze out the bottom. When the liquid oozes out, the mushrooms are good,
Yeah.
and it's got still a little soft on the top. But it's good enough.
Yeah, or you could turn the oven off maybe.
Now I'm just going to let it cook.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, if you want to join me and Rick as we do my tagline, and you can go ahead and Thanks knows what I'm going to be doing. Thanks already typed it in the comments, and you can do what Thanks did and type in my tagline in the comments as well. And Rick is going to join me, and he's going to join me in saying that together. Are you ready, Rick?
I am.
Okay. Well, until I see all of you again.
Yeah, let's get rid of this one. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
There, that's a good way. That's a good way. Okay, until I see all of you again, remember, be strong, be well, and be
Green.
green. Love you, Rick. Thank you so much. Thank you, Green Warriors.
Love you too,
Thank
baby.
you, everyone. Take
And eat
care.
your chips.
Oh, don't eat all my chips. We'll see you soon, Green Warrior.
Looking for really tasty recipes that are SOS free? No sugar, oil, or salt. How can it taste good? Well, if you like flavor, then you'll love this Be Green with Amy recipe ebook. Get your copy today. Click on the link in the show notes. Be strong, be well, and be green.